So it has come to my attention that there was a Brad Neely show I did not review in my last video that, at the time I made that video, I did not even know it existed. It's called The Harper House, and it aired on Paramount+. And this show is horrifyingly, nightmarishly unremarkable. It is such a knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff that watching only the first episode made me want to knock myself off. It's unseasoned meat. It's dog shit. Like Sclopio Pipio, it's not funny. But the reason Sclopio Pipio wasn't funny was because it felt like some weird in-joke that only Brad Neely thought was funny. This doesn't even feel like a show he would like. It doesn't even feel like a show he wanted to create. It doesn't feel like a show he did create. Which speaks volumes, because no one knew this show existed except for this one YouTuber who pointed out to me in my Brad Neely career review that this show existed. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for exposing me to this show. I think I have cancer now. To prove this point, most of the clips of this show on YouTube have less views than a lot of my videos on this channel. That is insane to think about. Remember how I said that Brad Neely didn't crash and burn Sclopio Pipio on purpose? I think he actually did that with this one. Sclopio Pipio feels like the moment Neely became Stephen King. You know, someone whose name carries enough weight that he no longer has an editor. But the show doesn't even feel like Brad Neely had any fucking thing to do with it. It feels ghost-written. The writing is dog shit, the voice acting is bad, the animation barely looks like his style and has absolutely no flair. The music is even bad. The fucking music! Even Sclopio Pipio had a good intro song. There, I said it. I said one good thing about that fucking pile of shit. This show made me actually say something positive about Sclopio Pipio. I think I just threw up in my mouth. The dialogue is so awful, it sounds like a 9-year-old wrote it. Within the first couple minutes of the first episode, a character says this line. This slide from upper middle class to lower middle class is a pain in the ass. What is a line like that doing in a show created by the same guy who wrote this?
I try not to look up so I won't break the fourth wall of God's TV.
So what's the show about, you might ask? Let me just read you this interview Brad Neely gave to AWN.com. Brad Neely channels his Arkansas childhood in The Harper House. The China, Illinois creator's new 2D animated adult comedy about a fun, wacky mom who loses her job, forcing a family move from riches to rags, fondly reflects his own upbringing in the Razorback state. For over a decade, it's been Brad Neely's dream to create a show with his own version, as he puts it, of a female Homer. Man, it wasn't enough that we got Texas Homer and New England Homer twice. Now we need female Homer. The Harper House premieres today on Paramount+, showcasing a confident, fun, wacky mom who perfectly fits the bill as a The Simpsons family head counterpart. Man, I'm so glad that the guy who created China, Illinois, one of the most interesting and unique comedies on television, is now openly admitting to cribbing from The Simpsons. But the series, centered on an Arkansas family of 4 forced to leave behind their rich and fabulous lifestyle when they move to the poor side of town after mom, Debbie Harper, loses her job, has a much more personal foundation than just a main character inspired by Matt Groening's famous animated series. This is embarrassing. This is fucking embarrassing. The Harper House is based on Neely's own personal experiences growing up in Arkansas. Then why did nobody on the show have a southern accent? I watched most of the first episode. I think there's one character with a southern accent. Man, that's real true to life. When I was young, I had a similar move that the Harpers have, remembers Neely, also known for his TV comedy series, Brad Neely's Hargnall and Sclopio Pipio. Fuck you! You would put that one instead of China, Illinois. I went from the rich side of town to the more neglected side of town. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I wanted to show that same experience through the Harper family. Oh god. Executive produced by Neely, along with Star Trek Lower Decks' Katie Krentz, the 2D animated series is quick-witted, crass, and surprisingly sweet. With an unconventionally inviting animated character style that's less common in adult animation, which more often stylistically relies on caricatures and sharp lines. Yeah, this style is so fucking groundbreaking and good. Just look at it, guys. This is so good. It's the future of animation. I have only a few ways that I draw, and this is one of them, explains Neely of his button-nosed characters. Oh, God. I'm glad you think the animation is sweet. I think so, too. We really put the time in to get the characters and the backgrounds to feel good to the eye, so that the viewers will want to stay in the world for many, many seasons. Spoiler alert. That thing that happened to Sclopio Pipio happened to him again with this one. That's where Neely's 2D turns on the charm, inviting viewers into a bizarre domestic world where a family realizes their move to the other side of the tracks wasn't such a bad thing after all. Because that's really what I want out of a Brad Neely cartoon. A life lesson. After working through a pandemic and subsequent lockdowns where Neely's home office was his laundry room... What? Wait, what? The creator says he's ready to offer audiences a story that's, as he says, for laughs primarily. Yeah, well, he sure fucked the pooch on that one. The only funny thing about this entire show is that Gabori Sidibe, who played Precious, did a voice on the show at some point, and in China, Illinois, there was a side character named Chinese Precious. I like to think she didn't watch China, Illinois, and so doesn't know Brad Neely poked fun at her in her most famous role, so most of the comedy from that one is in my head. And like Sclopio Pipio, the Harper house was canceled after one season. God does exist. You know, that Brad Neely video that I did, I ended on a high note because I still love what he did before Sclopio Pipio. I'm not ending this one on a high note. Brad, you need to rethink what's next for you, because this ain't it. I am really, really disappointed in you. Just kidding, baby girl. Please don't go.